All right, welcome, leaders who care. And let's start with intros. It'll be something to the effect of your name, maybe where you're from originally, where you are now, and if it's possible, in 5 seconds, what you do. Okay. Hey, Suzanne. Good to
Hi.
see you. All right, let's start with Chip.
Chip Webster, originally from Southern California, Orange County. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida. And my passion right now is promoting unity and service, getting people off the couch and working in community projects to break down the barriers.
That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? Good to see you. Daniel, hi.
Hi, Mark. It's been a while. Hello from Los Angeles, California. I'm Daniel. I've known Mark for a few years now. I always learn something when I talk to Mark. Glad to be here. In 5 seconds, I am a communications and business consultant. I'm from Brazil by way of Korea.
Nice. That's different for sure. Hey, Joan, welcome.
Oh, hey, Mark. Joan Brothers, New York City. Business is real estate advisory in New York City and all over the world. And passion is UN projects.
Mhm. Unprojects, right?
Yeah.
Um, all right, Mr. Roy.
I was about to have a sip of coffee. Roy Mowat, I'm in sunny London in England. Background is South Africa to England, and now airline catering was my business, and now I'm writing people's life stories for your mother or father or someone you love dearly, private memoirs.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wonderful.
It's awesome. I'm glad you clarified that it was London, England, not London, Ontario. That was good of you.
I've
Um,
only had to do that since I've met you lot.
speaking of Ontario, Alexander, welcome.
Well, not quite Ontario, Montreal,
Oh,
which
you're
is
Montreal. That's
the
right.
other Canada, right? L'autre Canada. So my name is Alexander Kippen from Montreal. I've got my old Expos coffee cup here, working now in New York. I'm a political reporter turned speechwriter who is now this month hopefully building an app that will help you deliver a better, optimal executive presentation.
Well done.
I'll
Okay.
definitely need your help out.
We all do. We
Hey,
all do.
Mark Jarrett, welcome.
Good to be here. Warm greetings from the United Kingdom. Hi, everyone. I'm a super connector. I operate hundreds of WhatsApp groups, and my ideal referral is anyone who hates networking. Obviously, that's none of you. Um, but also anyone that doesn't have the time to network. I can then tenaciously seek out the kind of people you need to meet and bring them to you.
Well done. Well done. Roland, welcome. Long time no
Yeah.
see.
Hi, everyone. Roland Weishofer. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada originally. Moved to Los Angeles in 2000 and have been a independent entertainment studio CFO for about 25 years.
Good to see you. Suzanne.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Steinbaum. I grew up in New Jersey, but have been living in New York City longer than I lived in New Jersey. I am a cardiologist by training, still part-time practicing, preventive cardiologist with a focus on women's cardiovascular health. And I am now the CEO and founder of Adesso, which means now in Italian, for women's cardiovascular prevention, health, and wellness, a software solution.
Awesome. Then you and Dr. Levine should chat if you don't know each other
Mhm.
already. Alexandra, the lady I didn't get a chance to meet when she was in California.
I'm so sorry. The one who on the side travels far too much. My side job is a flight attendant that I can't give up, but my real job, I am the founder of Project Blackbird, which is a nonprofit that provides free therapy and resources to different students and community members through a vast program that involves different public figures like professional athletes, actors, sharing their lived experience around mental health. As a quick note for anyone in New York, we're presenting at the UN General Assembly. If you are mental health interested, let me know. I would certainly love to have you there. And then the DCers, we're doing a men's mental health at the end of this month too. And I myself am DC based, but I hold on to the flight attendant job on the side, so I travel everywhere. So I'll come and visit, but I might be
Yeah,
busy.
I've
I
heard that.
promise, Mark.
I've
We'll
heard
make
that
it.
before. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Marlies, hi.
Hi, how are you guys? This is my second call, and I just have to say I was super impressed with the first and meeting all of you. I'm an attorney by training. I'm passionate about privacy, protecting our digital rights, and I am also passionate about mental health. My son has autism and anxiety, and I would love to speak more with you, Alexander. I'm
Awesome.
in Boca. Oh, sorry. I'm in Boca. I was originally from Puerto Rico and have family in the Netherlands as well.
Well, two more sorries and you're an honorary Canadian. So way to go.
There you go.
Gabriella, by the way, I'm going to be in Miami, Gabriella, on the 17th to the 19th of September if you want to grab a coffee.
Absolutely. Great. Great. So, Gabriela Pulido, I'm born and raised in Venezuela, living in Miami for the past 8 years. I'm a creative problem solver, and what I do is give back. Mark, we're finalizing the program with UM and the university in Venezuela to level up the healthcare service, have a program, joint program. So I'm super excited about that, finally giving some back because that level and that degree left the country. So
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Awesome, awesome. Ron, welcome.
Hello, Mark. Nice to see you. Yeah, Ron Chabot, originally from the Boston area, living just over the border in Exeter, New Hampshire. Worked in life sciences, medical device companies, and currently doing some consulting, uh, doing some work for a Tel Aviv-based venture capital firm, some investor relations. They do a lot of stuff in AI and machine learning. So that's what I'm up to these days.
Good to see you, man.
See you.
Tammy, hello.
Hello. Let's see if I'm here. There we go. Hello.
That
How's it
sounded
going?
a little Seinfeld to me. Hello, go ahead.
I know something. All right, and you're not in my ears, which is weird, but all right. Hi, I am Tammy. I am from raised a little bit in upstate New York and a lot. Oh, no. Sound issues today. Better. And I usually work at the intersection of financial returns and impact results with family offices and lecturing on it at MBA programs in the UN and other places. But these days, I've chosen to hijack my life, and we're launching Rethink Packaging during UNGA, which is all the point of sale packaging, the box that you throw away when you buy things to get rid of it. So we're doing a big CPG retailer consortium and launching a big consumer action campaign. And that all starts in September. So anyone who works with heads of sustainability of companies or has big consumer influencer campaigns, come find me.
Yeah, I know a few of those people, so we'll talk. Let's see. Brandon. You'll come back to
Hey
Brandon.
there, Mark. Give me one second.
Oh,
Can you
just
hear me?
later, Brandon. Go for it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let me step outside where it's a little bit quieter and I actually have bars. So I'm currently walking around the streets of Washington, D.C., hence my very mobile background, and this is where I'm from. I currently run a nonprofit that's working on campuses across the U.S. to really create spaces to talk about the Middle East uh, without so much of the polarization and hate that is unfortunately pretty common on campus. We're at 15 campuses so far and expanding. And what I'll say is we also do a lot of work to really give every opportunity we can to everyone who's got the emotional intelligence to engage civilly through the nonpartisan organization. I'll leave it there. Thanks as always for putting this on, Mark.
Thanks, man. All right, we're gonna go faster now. We'll take the narratives out of everything. Let's go to who would know how to do that? Let me just see here. Chelsea, hi.
Hey, good morning. So glad to be here. My name is Chelsea Myers. I am the host of the Brain Crops podcast. Stay tuned because I just got to interview Mark. It was a fantastic conversation. Would love to connect with other podcasters here. I currently am in pre-launch mode of a children's wellness platform. I believe that tea is the conduit to connection and creativity. So that's super exciting. Outside of that, I built, scaled, and exited a successful healthcare company and still the face of a leadership development company for doctors and executives. Thanks for having me.
Not to mention posting the most inspirational, wonderful posts on LinkedIn. It's like amazing
Thank you.
when you get them
Thank
all.
you.
All right, the Carolina Hurricanes, one of their fans, David. David.
Hey, sorry, I had to move. Hey, David Swintowski. I'm founding managing partner of Dunning Capital. We're a boutique strategy consulting investment banking firm. We sell companies, raise capital, do business strategy for awesome people and we work in the industry of awesome people. So really generalists, but work with great folks, North America, South America, and Europe, to do entrepreneurial transactions. So helping founders get to exits, families run businesses better.
Awesome. Great to see you again.
Originally from Lexington, Kentucky. Sorry. Live in North Carolina.
Nice job. All right. Courtney.
Hi, Courtney Bickert. I am here in Washington, D.C., and I am CEO and founder of Laughing Matters, bringing the power of laughter and humor to build strong and resilient teams, leaders, organizations. So important right now at this moment in time to laugh.
You think?
Thank you.
No question.
No joking matter for sure.
No joking matter.
All right. Hey, Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Another South African. I now live in Atlanta and 35 years in education, and we have an emotional intelligence well-being program, online hybrid for all ages, based on my son's books that are all animated.
The free mind. Great stuff. All right. Hey, Kyle.
Good morning. Kyle Mathis.
What's up?
New York City. I'm grateful to lead Tribe. We help establish nonprofit foundations through college.
That's how you do a quick introduction, by the way, in case anybody wants to notice. There's a lot of people you can connect with here, Kyle, so you should check that out or ask. Speaking of great people, Lauren, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Great to see you. Lauren Easterday, Chicago, Illinois, originally from Northern Illinois, so not far. I am extremely passionate about healthcare and making it accessible and affordable for all people. And I believe we're uniquely poised with technology to be able to do that. It's great to see everyone.
Great. You too, always. Matthias.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Mark. So good to be here. I'm Matthias from originally from Munich, Germany, and I'm also currently back here. It's super beautiful. Um, I had an event company, a successful one in the software as a service business as well, until I burnt out and found myself in a deep dark hole. Climbed out of that, and the last years have been really dedicated to personal growth and pioneering some of the most cutting edge modalities on this planet. And now I help high achieving, always on, always pushing entrepreneurs to find peace and clarity. That's me.
Yeah, and it's great stuff too. And speaking of peace and clarity, Sam.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm based in London, originally grew up in Australia. What I essentially do is I help people remove any obstacle from health to wealth. I've also built a platform called Resonance OS, which unlocks flow at a cellular level within 15 minutes and nervous system coherence within 9. And I work with any leader who is basically here to shape the future of humanity.
Sounds good to me, if you get it. I'm happy to welcome Mimi late at night.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Can you hear me?
We can.
Great, great. Hi, I'm Mimi Ishio from Japan, Tokyo. As representative director of Wingstone Foundation Japan, we are committed to protecting life by supporting initiatives related to the environment, animal welfare, and education for children. I'm sorry, I couldn't turn on my camera. It's very at the middle of night. But thank you so much, Mark.
It's
Thanks.
lovely to hear your voice. She does great, great work. If you guys want to connect, it's just wonderful. Good to have you, Mimi. Let's see, going down here. Engu.
Hey, Mark, thanks. I look forward to these calls. My name is Ngut Mocho. I'm originally from Cameroon in Central Africa, moved to UK and then US, and then now I'm in Houston, Texas. Lived and worked across most of Africa and here. I currently work in the impact infrastructure space at the kind of the intersection between decarbonization and sustainability. We develop projects that improve communities and unlock economic opportunity for folks who are kind of outside of the main circle. So we work on projects on decarbonization, economic improvement, healthcare, renewable power, all the things that don't directly affect capitalism but improve society.
Welcome, welcome. Good to see you as always. Stan, welcome. Stan.
Thank you for the intro, Mark. Hi, this is Stan Chen of RecycleGo. I work at the intersection of sustainability and technology. I've built a recycling blockchain to track materials, and we've kicked off a carbon credit project for plastic recycling recently, launching a module for essentially building sustainable supply chains. I am based in New York, but yeah, open to collaboration around really leveraging technology to just scale and grow sustainable projects using blockchain as the back end. So thank you for the invite, Mark, and thank you for inviting me into the community.
No, my pleasure. Everybody get on the community and start talking to each other, or with each other would probably be better. And even listen to each other is even better than that. Okay, Tomas.
Yeah, good morning. I am a super connector. I lead an advisory firm focused on connecting world-class solutions in sustainability with the buyers by focusing on what their pain points are. I grew up in Denmark and currently live in Los Angeles.
I just posted a great thing about Denmark where they talked about how to eliminate stereotyping people by definition and by categories. It's awesome. That little country does so many good things. It's quite amazing. Andrea from my hometown.
Hi, Mark. Great to see you, and hello, everyone. I'm Andrea, based in Montreal, originally from Romania. I am a four times author, entrepreneur, and the founder of 1 Million Years of Joy, which comprises multiple things, including a podcast, a leadership award, and also we do research on joy across cultures and generations. And our next endeavor is a documentary that combines all these different pieces together.
She brings millions and millions of joy all the time, and color too. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody here. Michael, did I get Michael?
Hey, Mark.
There we go.
Michael here. I posted a small note in the chat, but good to see you again. I think we haven't seen each other or spoken directly with each other for about 3-4 years. So
Yeah, well,
glad
where you
to be
been? You
here.
don't send chocolates or flowers or nothing.
Nothing. Soon, Mark. I'm Michael, originally Kenyan, currently in Ghana, West Africa. Move about a few countries on the continent based on work. I currently work in the investment space, investing in early stage tech ventures on the African continent. Happy to be here. Would love to connect with anyone that has an interest in Africa or in the investment space within the continent. And really excited to hear about all the amazing work being done by the members of the group. Mark, thank you once again for the platform.
It's great to hear your voice, and we should talk more. And you should get on the platform, get on the community, and start engaging with people.
Will do. Thank you.
Cool. Let's see. I'm trying to go through the list here by, all right. Somebody raised their hand if I haven't called on you yet, aside from our two speakers.
I'll say a quick hello, Mark. This is Bridget Coulter Cheadle. I'm in Santa Monica, so it is early. For me, I know 8 a.m. is not early for everyone, but I'm a later person. But happy to be here. I got a chance to be on your podcast several years ago and just really loved what you do. And I run a space called Blackbird. We're a social impact membership and storytelling studio for centered on visionaries, focused on women of color and her allies and co-conspirators. And we're really invested in thinking deeper alongside programming that we welcome diverse perspectives, engaged in civil discourse on pivotal matters. So I am happy to be here and connect with any of you wonderful people.
We should get together and catch up, Miss Bridget.
Yes, I'd love that.
Me too. Thanks, Camille. I wouldn't forget you, Camille.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Camille Mother. I am based in New Jersey. I am the founder of the Soul, SOUL Professional Movement. It's a global call for purpose-driven entrepreneurs to come together, create companies, not only mostly solopreneurs, so they're small, but very purpose-driven. We're in about 30 countries right now. And I'm known for the Soul Professional Business Accelerator, which is actually teaching an MBA style curriculum with soul and initiative. So people are actually working in their passion across the world and coming together and being good global citizens and combining all of their knowledge to raise awareness.
Leaders Who Care have soul.
Yes, they do. Why I'm here.
All right. Mr. Jeff Sparrow, how are you?
Good, Mark. It's been a while. I am
me.
happily relocated from Central Coast of California out here to Franklin, Tennessee with my wife and kiddos, and working on a really fun project with Apple and Google around identity in commerce, particularly focused on alternate asset classes to be used in trade and transaction, like carbon credits or precious metals or these stable coins that multinational platforms are now endorsing. So it's a lot of fun.
You always doing amazing things, and that I have to hear 10 times before I understand them. But it's usually
I'll send the I'll send the definitions later. Yeah,
all
no,
right,
it's a lot of
cool.
fun.
Mr. Paulo, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I'm Paulo Silva, originally from Brazil. I run a company. I'm the CEO of a company called Cloud Fortress. I own a private cloud hosting platform. So if anybody needs, if anybody's tired of running the applications on AWS and spending way too much money running your servers or virtual desktops, you can give me a shout. And so I own a data center. I'm partnered with the Fifth Element Group. I've been working with Mark now for a few years, and very passionate about what I do, and looking to meet people and collaborate.
Sounds good, man. Good to hear you. Uwe.
Yes, good morning. I'm the second German and the third physician caring about cardiovascular disease on the call, as it appears. My name is Uwe Tiger. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Auxilius Pharma, which is a company that focuses on closing the 20-year gap in developing affordable medications for one of the most common cardiovascular syndromes, which is called chronic angina, the symptom of the most common cardiovascular condition here in the US, which is straightforward coronary disease. I grew up in East Berlin, did my training on both sides of the Atlantic, and I am living in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Well, we should have a roundtable of cardiovascular people in this world. I guess. And welcome, as always, Stephanie. Welcome.
Hey, Mark. Good morning, everybody. My name is Stephanie Sylvester. I'm co-founder of Avatar Buddy, manage AI as a service company that helps you maximize your AI investment.
Now that's how you do it. Again, nice job. All right, did I miss anybody else? Anybody that joined a little late? Going once, going twice? Awesome. We're not going to do the breakout rooms because I want to give more time to the speakers. And I think we'll start. David, we'll get to you in a minute, so don't go anywhere. I know you move around a lot fast. And but Dr. Robert Levine, who I got to know a few years back, initially introduced by one of my partners, Ed Martin. And I'm not going to waste my time, Robert, in introducing you. I'd love you to introduce yourself and the story, the journey, and the amazing stuff you're doing right now in your area. So, Robert, I hand it to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mark. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to share some slides, but what I'm going to ask of everyone is to please keep me honest about time because, like all of you, I have passion about what I'm doing, which means I talk a lot about it. So you can poke me whenever I've gotten tedious.
Yeah, I'm really good at that, so don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Dr. Robert Levine. I'm professionally trained as a cardiologist, but really haven't done a whole lot of cardiology since I was full-time faculty at the Mount Sinai Medical Center here in New York back in the 80s. In 88, I stepped aside and joined my wife, Mary Tyler Moore, in leadership of what was then called the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And so most of my professional career has really been about building awareness about diabetes and support for type 1 diabetes research. I guess Mark gave me some instruction on how I should present things. So I'm going to try and keep to that. We're talking a little bit about the legacy project that I've created to honor Mary, which is called the Mary Tyler Moore Vision, initiative. But let me give you some more, and that's really dedicated to making Mary's dream of a world without vision loss from diabetes a reality. I'll get some detail on that in a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to give you some further background. If you don't know my wife, and if you do, some details you may not know about her life. So of course, she's the inspiration for everything that I do, and she was diagnosed with diabetes as a young woman at the age of 30 in the prime of her career. So this is us. We were married in November of 1983 after having met in October.
You haven't changed a bit.
Haven't changed a bit. October 1982 was a very interesting meeting. I was covering. I was a fellow at the time in cardiovascular disease, and I was covering a lot of New York City practices on Yom Kippur because there were no other Jewish doctors covering their practices on the high holy days. And we met because Mary's mom was very sick and had come back from Europe, and she wanted someone to see her, and I was it.
Happened for a reason.
It happened for a reason. It did for sure. It did for sure. So this is Mary's. These are not Mary's retina, but but they're just kind of representative of diabetic retinal disease. So on the right, on the left, you'll see a normal retina. In the middle is a retina with significant what's called proliferative diabetic retinopathy, and on the right is a retina post what was at the time in 1985 is the standard of care, which is called pan-retinal photocoagulation therapy. For those of you who are old enough to remember the Vietnam War, this is essentially the equivalent of burning the village to save the village. So after 2 years of marriage, Mary had her first bleed. That's what you see. This little red spot is, of her retina, and she required pan-retinal photocoagulation, therapy as treatment. Mary suffered a lot of different complications of diabetes, but it was her vision loss that was her had the most impact on her life. This is Mary in 1976. Dancing a pas de deux with Ben Vereen. You'll notice that is for a 40-year-old woman, that's a pretty perfect grand jeté with great elevation and extension. By 1986, she couldn't do that anymore because of her vision loss and the impact of the treatment and the destruction of her peripheral vision as a result of the standard of care. So diabetes stole Mary's joy because it stole her vision. So, and if you look at the issue from, out of the personal, diabetes is still the number one cause of blindness in working age adults in the world. It is each of the over 530, closer to 600 million people with diabetes in the world is at risk for retinal disease. It's not just a disease of older folks. Because it affects, in fact, with individuals with youth onset diabetes, over 50% of them have evidence of retinal disease by age 26. And it really is essential that you take specific actions to accelerate research progress. And there was really no one doing that at the level that we're doing it. So when Mary passed, that was my decision, was to step into an area of unmet need and focus the global attention on the problems of diabetic retinal disease and means to accelerate progress to find cures and new preventive strategies. It really was Mary's wish that people in the future would not have to suffer as she had. We're organized as a not-for-profit, and if you look at us from the bookends of purpose and vision, so purpose always starts with people and improving outcomes. So it's about ensuring that people with diabetes can live joyful and independent lives, free from the fear and burdens of vision loss. And the big vision is creating a world without vision loss from diabetes. But you have to find a slot, and where's the need? And the need is really for an entity that will break down the barriers, to progress. Act as an accelerator. And we do that through convening, through developing shareable resources and tools and encouraging, global collaboration, by bridging gaps, by in particular, from the standpoint of for regulatory approval. We'll talk a little bit about our actions in there. And of course, building awareness. There's a deep absence of understanding of the connection between diabetes and vision loss, including in people with diabetes. We start by listening to the voices of people who are personally affected with disease and investing in specific efforts that will enhance the opportunity for individuals to have their voices heard in the context of clinical care, as well as research and development of new therapeutics. Two of our main projects are what we call a PRO. We're invested in developing a new patient-reported outcome measure for diabetic retinal disease, which can be used in new drug development as well as in the clinical setting. The ELPFDD is something that an advocacy group like ours organizes and engages the FDA so that we can create a package for biotherapeutics development companies that they can then present to the FDA that brings the patient voice to the FDA's process. And we're actually going to be the first user of what's called the Natter platform, which is an AI-assisted mass focus group, platform. We're going to be the first user of that platform for healthcare. We can bring together up to 100,000 voices in a simultaneous, anonymized focus group around specific issues, in our case of patient concern in diabetic retinal disease. Our actions to overcome, the obstacles. So, I've said this in many ways, but the key is, three principal obstacles to progress in any field as complicated as what we're trying to deal with in chronic illness. First, you really can't solve a problem you haven't defined. Second, you can't cure a human condition, disease without studying the human condition. And third, you can't judge success unless you know what to measure. So that's where we focused a lot of our energy in better defining the disease so that we can develop new indications for therapy as well as therapeutics, development, and in particular recognizing that the disease is a disease of the entire retinal neurovascular unit, and function is the key variable that we need to measure. We've stood up a biorepository of human tissue so we can study the human disease, and we've launched clinical studies that will allow us to create new regulatory pathways so that we actually know what to measure in order to identify an individual earlier in their disease process, and measure efficacy of new interventions. It's kind of like the equivalent in preventive cardiology. After Framingham, we had a thing we could treat to, which is a number of cholesterol that we knew was increasing the risk of future cardiovascular disease. We're looking for the same thing in vision, in diabetes visual function, because we need something early so that we know how to direct preventive strategies. defining the disease, I guess, I'm going to skip through this, but just think about it in this way. The way in which we currently diagnose the disease and plan therapy is basically like the rotary phone. It's unidimensional. What we need is a multidimensional approach, and we've defined that, and we've published broadly on the topic, and these publications and this process has informed a lot of our activities. Obviously, we've stood up the biorepository. That what do you need? This is about the biology of disease and its pathophysiology, and being able to identify new targets for therapeutics development, to validate targets that have been identified, and assess their relevance. And of course, like I said, you need to identify how you're going to measure success, and we've developed a couple of clinical trials, to do that. By the way, all of this is and anyone, in the group that can give me some insight as to how I can, scale what we're doing and raise the dollars that we need to achieve all this. It would obviously, I'd welcome, those inputs or collaborations that you feel might be available to us. We have access to millions of images and records through our collaboration with the Joslin to build a learning database for an AI foundation model, which we hope to be able to initiate very soon, because you can't really do anything these days without having a thought about how do we take this data and deploy AI tools in order to advance the field. I think I'll go through these. I may end on this, but there are a couple of other things that I want to let you know about. But we've put ourselves in the center of a system of need. And many of you have do this in other spaces, and you have to recognize the complexity of issue, and you have to bring various resources together in order to solve it at a systems level. And so, of course, we start with our three fundamental assets that we're building, because those are essential to progress, to overcoming obstacles. That is, you need a new way to define the disease, an updated staging system. You need to be able to study the human tissue, and you need to have endpoints and biomarkers in order to accelerate therapeutics development and improve care. But you have to have a gateway so that industry can participate in all this. So we have a pre-competitive consortium that we've created. We do our convenings every year. We have public engagement processes, which we'll talk a little bit about. We have the PFDD, which I talked about, the PRO. We're leading a global accelerator group with the Collaborative Community on Ophthalmic Innovation. We're working with the Alliance for Healthcare from the Eye. This is a critical area of a new field called oculomics, where you can take images of the retina and predict risk of cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, as well as Alzheimer's. And then other things, obviously, that we're engaged in. We've got substantial academic partners at Harvard and University of Michigan. We have industry partners. We invest in workforce development, as you would imagine, new physician scientist, awards with Research to Prevent Blindness. We're working very closely with Topcon Healthcare and their Alliance for Healthcare from the Eye. We're aligning ourselves with consumer-facing grants because of Mary's, impact and visibility. We're able to tie ourselves to. So Frances Valentine is Kate Spade's second company with Elise Aarons. Elise just released her first book called "We Might Just Make It After All," because they were big fans of Mary. So we're going to do a fashion line with Frances Valentine to help support the initiative. Our first PSA had an audience of over 500 million with a contributed ad value of 21 million, to give you a sense of what our footprint can be in the media space, where we've got a partnership with Variety Magazine. We've given a Mary Tyler Moore Visionary Award. I guess Jean Smart was the recipient this year, Kristen Wiig last year. We're going to be doing a limited bioseries on Mary with Reese Witherspoon and her Hello Sunshine, company soon. And of course, as you would imagine, we have lay advisors and well, you would imagine that we have an external scientific advisory board of leaders. What you might not understand is that in everything that we do, we have the voice of the patient. So we have a lay advisory as well. So I guess the key takeaways in terms of what we're doing is diabetic retinal disease is a growing public health problem. It includes young adults. It's a disease of the entire retinal neurovascular unit. And there are big gaps, in our understanding of disease that someone has to fill. And we've stepped forward, to do that. All of you have seen this because you're all of a certain age. Well, most of you are a certain age. we kind of feel, the same. This is really all about it. It is, and I'll stop sharing because I really want to see all of you. This is, I spent 30 plus years with Mary in leadership of the Juvenile Diabetes, Research Foundation in helping them design their research strategy and to drive towards cures for diabetes and its complications. And Mary really was an effective advocate and leader in that. But there is so much unfinished business. And one of the things that's unfinished is actually, finding and being able to deliver, on the promise of cures. And so I just kind of picked up the mantle. This was the problem that Mary suffered most from, her loss of vision, which is why I picked it as the target. But it's amazing to me that after decades of leadership in this space, and I know you've all experienced this, that persistent problems persist. And unless someone comes forward and says, I'm going to tackle this, and I'm going to bring together the resources that are necessary to do so, and I'm going to be objective about how I identify where the obstacles are. We're going to start by breaking down those obstacles so we can unleash the genius that exists in the world and the intention that is out there, but are doing other things because we haven't been able to get rid of what I used to call the if onlys. You've all heard this in your lives. You'll be sitting with a brilliant person who has ideas about how to solve a complex problem. They'll say to you, if only I had this, then I could do that. But since I don't have that, I can't move forward. So we're all about solving the if onlys. So we unleash the genius that exists in the world to find solutions for this intractable, persistent problem, which is vision loss and blindness, from diabetes. And I really appreciate the fact that you've listened. And would love ideas on how I can move things forward with whom I could work to help. Yeah.
Thanks, Robert. That's awesome. And one thing I want to say is it's amazing how things happen where Mary was a pioneer early back on a woman and entertainment and whatnot. And I remember as a kid watching her on Dick Van Dyke Show and the Lou Grant and all that and how you met her, Robert, and the things happen however they happen, spontaneously or by accident or whatnot. Um, and people impact people in different ways. And then leaders who care then don't just care, they actually act on it. And you've done this amazing work since I've met you on keeping her legacy alive and having an impact that she continues to make, and hopefully a much even greater impact as this thing advances. So kudos to you, and thanks for everything you do, and the impact that your family has made just on me and so many others. Any questions? Any comments? Any donations? By anybody? Yeah, Kim.
I have a question. You're really talking to a layperson here, okay? But all these people we've got friends with diabetes and they're on Ozempic and other things, which makes them feel so sick. Does that stop this process of the blindness and the sight issues?
Yeah, really important question. So far it looks like the GLP-1, agonists do have a positive impact on some of the complications of diabetes because, especially in type 2 diabetes, of course, that blood sugars come under control. But that is not the case. In the current evidence with diabetic retinal disease is ambiguous to negative impact as opposed to positive. Whether that will play out over years as people take those new drugs for a time and potentially their diabetes stabilizes is unclear. But right now it's not a positive look yet.
Brandon?
Yeah, firstly, I'll just start off and say I appreciate everything you're doing. And growing up with a few medical issues and being on my own end involved with some of the foundations that are doing research, I've seen what that's like for something called mitochondrial disease. So I appreciate how you're stepping forward with diabetes. I just want to say I appreciate that. And then I do have to do a plug. You mentioned you're at Mount Sinai. Would you have happened to work with either Harry or Michael Weinrock? One's my grandfather and one's my uncle, and they're both cardiologists at Mount Sinai at the same time.
Yeah. So I left in 1988. One of the people I'm principally interacting with were, Valentin Fuster and Jonathan Halpern, but the names sound familiar. Brendan, send me a note and I'll rack memory and take a look at some of my past documents to see. I'm sure I tripped over them.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Brandon, you should also talk to Suzanne. Maybe she knows them too, and people can start using her amazing device.
It's highly possible. I know Harry Weinrock had his way of making him.
Oh, did you say Harry Weinrock? Did you say,
I did.
Yeah, yes, I knew. So, thank you. So I'm just hearing. Yes, I knew Dr. Weinrock. Yes.
I just call him Harry.
Yeah.
I don't know him. Any other?
Great man. It was a great man. We're really an innovator. Back in the day at Mount Sinai, we used to talk about the giants. So Harry was kind of one of them.
I just wanted to make a comment. I remember many years ago, you'll know the date, when Mary spoke at Go Red for Women luncheon, I believe.
Yeah.
I remember very clearly you escorted her to
Of
the
course.
podium. It was a memorable day. Have you circled back with them and the American Heart Association?
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. I haven't been in touch with AHA in a very long time. Of course, I did know the leadership there for many years. It's an interesting question in terms of what's the right timing for going back. Some of the people who helped me actually did the Just a Little Heart Attack with Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
A little tutorial. So I do have connections back to the Heart Association. So maybe it's the right timing to go back to AHA and see if they have interest in a collab.
I've been working with them actually since the beginning of Go Red for Women, and have been on the National Media and Communications Committee. And Nancy Brown's the CEO. I think you were around when she was around at that time. But if there's any connections or any way I can assist, please let me know.
That's great. Thank you. Appreciate that, Suzanne. Thank you.
Yeah, and if y'all need a way to contact, or you can't do it on the platform, just call me, email me, and whatnot. I'll put y'all together. Dr. Levine, thanks a million again for everything you do, and we should all start.
I have a quick comment.
Matthias, I didn't see you. Where did you go?
That's all right. Don't worry. The American Heart Association, it's funny. I trained at Mount Sinai as well, and kind of treasured that time. I did work under a couple of people that I did my research on heart valve disease, and I worked with somebody I didn't even know was actually still around, because in Germany you don't really publish when you're in your 20s. You help somebody else publish, and Richard Gorlin was one of my mentors.
Oh, sure.
And, yeah, and you know what? I was kind of chuckling when he introduced himself, because I thought, oh, name familiarity, and I thought it must be really tough to have that name in this hospital, because I was sure the real guy was long dead, and it turned out that was actually
his
him.
father. It was Dick and his dad. The
Anyway,
formula.
Just for the American Heart Association, I went to a couple of meetings when I was still living in the city with the American Heart Association, and I wouldn't get my hopes up when it comes to them. I went there once for a meeting where they invited a number of CEOs of pharmaceutical companies in the area, and then basically asked them, well, where are the drugs for heart disease? And that was about 10 years ago, when there really wasn't much in the pipeline. And there were really big problems with the review division at the FDA, the cardiorenal division, which is now much better. And I work with them on a regular basis. But basically, at the time, the CEO said, you guys are the public health platform. we got a problem with the FDA
I'm
with
gonna have
the
to go
way that they're
quicker. We're gonna
approaching
have to go
things.
quicker.
Yeah, and then, and they kind of looked at the industry leaders and they're like, look, well, we don't really know what you're asking. So the platform does not work as well as one would hope. So I think if you're looking for funding, I think the AHA is probably a door I wouldn't knock too hard on.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you may want to knock softly then.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Matthias, did you have something?
Yeah, I have a question. Do we have time for that?
Yeah.
Let's go. Cool. Thank you, Robert, so much for the presentation. And I'm super curious because you were talking about, like drugs and pharmaceutics, and how much does like nutrition and diet play in the research that you do for the disease?
Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks for the question. Obviously, from the standpoint of optimal care of diabetes, and the only paths that we have today to prevention, kind of fall back towards nutrition, exercise, and glucose management. Those are not, those don't eliminate the risk of retinal disease, but it certainly is what patients can do. We're not investing in nutritional research because we've carved out where the big gaps are from the standpoint of accelerating new therapeutics development. We'd love to partner with individuals who are interested in that side of the equation, because as I said, you have to look at it from a systems perspective. We just have to focus, our attention on the big obstacles to progress in new therapeutics development, especially for early stage disease. But we would love to be able to partner with others that can help us with the access issues, as well as kind of public health, education, and nutrition, and other aspects that will help patients achieve better outcomes.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. I don't
I'm gonna
personally
have to.
have any.
I'm gonna have to move forward. But you can always communicate after this as well, type of thing.
Yeah.
And but again, Robert, thanks a million. Great stuff. I know Marlies had someone. Was it Datavant, Marlies? You were talking about maybe that Dr. Levine should chat with, and Tower Capital is an organization I work with also that works on generational health. So anybody has any suggestions, support, whatnot, feel free. Thanks again. I want to move towards a different topic, but it's about sustainability, and an author, and a guy who's become a friend of mine for a while now. David, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Mark. Hi, everyone.
Cool. I want you to, if you could introduce yourself and the book that you wrote, and maybe read a little bit from it. I think that would be fantastic.
Very cool. And it's going to be a tough one to follow, a tough act to follow. Robert, well done, and congratulations for everything you're doing. So I wrote the book. So very, very quickly, I'm now based in Oxford because I'm about to complete my executive MBA. Because after a 30-year career in the US, Europe, and New Zealand, I thought that I needed to find some fresh air and inspiration to carry on in my career. So here I am. And I wrote this book called What Can We Do by Friday? Because I thought that there was a lack of climate action. There's a lot of talking and not enough action. And I thought we should apply a language that is provocative and a bit different from what we normally read in the media, which frankly is a bit of a turnoff. It's between policy, economics, and science. Not many people can digest that. So I thought we would adopt a more advertising type of language to convince decision makers to make the right decisions so we can address the urgency of the climate crisis. And I'm sure that all of you have been following the various changes and ups and downs of the climate agenda based on who is driving the country in different areas of the world. So let's not comment on that. Maybe instead of presenting the book, I should read the book to you, because I think it's a picture is worth 1,000 words. So in that case, a chapter would be worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, I was going to say you might not want to read the whole book, but maybe a chapter or two is all right.
Yeah. So the idea was to write something that would be really quick to consume. And before I read the chapter, guys, I'm just going to read to you a few chapter titles so you get immediately an idea of the attitude in the book. The first chapter is called A Letter to My Unborn Granddaughter. The second chapter is called Fuck the Planet, Save Yourself. The third chapter is called It's About Life and Death. And the fifth one is called I Love My Wife. Yeah, I know it is not the expected titles for a book about climate action, but that is the approach. So I think I'm going to read a book that maybe will build a bridge with Robert's presentation because it was about medicine and science. And so I'm going to read to you a chapter that talks about behavior science and a test that was done at Stanford University in 1969. And the chapter title is The Marshmallow Test. And some of you may be familiar with the marshmallow test. Is there anyone here in the audience who knows about the marshmallow test? If you do, raise your hand, please. Okay, one. Okay, so a few couple of people, but good. So at least I can share something new with you. So the chapter goes like this. In 1969, a professor at Stanford University began what would become one of the most famous psychological studies ever undertaken. Cognitive and Attentional Mechanisms in Delay of Gratification was published in 1972. In the complex world of science, it was a remarkably simple test, and it used a simple household confectionery. And you probably know it, or for those who raised the hand, as the marshmallow test. And the experiment was designed to study delayed gratification, so the ability to put off instant rewards for better outcomes in the future, right? We all struggle with that every day. So young children were tempted with a single marshmallow on a plate placed in front of them, and they were left in the room alone for 15 minutes. And if they gave in the temptation, they got to eat that one marshmallow. If they resisted the temptation, they were rewarded with two marshmallows at the end of the 15 minutes. So one now or two in 15 minutes. On average, 1/3 of the young children resisted the temptation of the immediate reward, one marshmallow, to receive a greater reward later, the two marshmallows. It is one of the most reliably replicated experiments into human nature ever conducted. And the most important finding, and one that is often overlooked, is that resistance to temptation as a young child correlated strongly with better outcomes later in life in areas such as academic studies, health, relationships, or just general well-being. Outcomes were statistically significantly above average for the young resistors. So now imagine you guys, you are that kid in 1969 sitting in the room with a marshmallow in front of you. Do you eat it now or do you wait and get to? So it's no-brainer, right? Now, here is the twist. What if the marshmallow is not a fluffy treat, but it is the only planet that we call home? So welcome to the adult version of the marshmallow test, also known as the climate crisis. Today is our marshmallow test for all 8 billion of us. So will we continue to give into the temptation right in front of us, the convenience, the pleasure, the conventional solutions, or can we resist, which means eating the marshmallow now might mean no marshmallow for anyone in the future. So how do we apply the lessons from these Stanford preschoolers to our current predicaments? So you could say that waiting for the second marshmallow isn't about willpower. It isn't. It's about trust. It's trust in the promise that we can build a better future, in our leaders to make the right decisions, in the trust that we all have in each other to resist today's marshmallow. And second, it's about knowledge and science, obviously. So just as the child who understood the value of waiting, we are more likely to succeed if we educate people, if we educate ourselves about the long-term benefits. And third, we need to make the wait for that second marshmallow as tempting as possible. So that's a little bit of the story about the marshmallow test.
I like marshmallows.
I hope I didn't down the mood here around the table. I didn't make anyone too hungry or too
Are
concerned.
marshmallows good for cardiovascular?
Marshmallows are famous for being excellent for cardiovascular. Yeah.
I'm trying to mesh this together, type of thing. That actually, this it's actually David's done some amazing stuff in sustainability. Some authored some amazing reports and this and that and the other. And I think the book's kind of cool, and I think it brings a different perspective, a different way to the problem. And I know Tammy, you were talking about sustainability. You might want to speak to David about that if you're
Yeah.
still there, Tammy. Does
I
anybody have
heard.
any comments or David? Did you want to continue? We've got
Yeah,
about
no, I just want
6
to say,
minutes left.
I just want to say, I heard many of you mention activities that relate to sustainability. My core belief is that we live in a battle of narratives. Also, it's about framing the transformation and the opportunity. That we have people who are very good at occupying the wave, the radio wave and the media, and that we have to be much better at it. And I also think that the sustainability industry has been very self-indulgent and has refused to play the game of money. And now we are paying the price, and that's really unfortunate. So if there is anyone around the table who wants to discuss it, because I've done that for about 30 years in the US and New Zealand, I've done it for corporate and governments. So if anyone needs any type of input, this is completely voluntary because this is my donation, this is my contribution to society. That book is my contribution, and my advice is a contribution. I've participated in COP summits, and I've done quite a bit on the topic. So I will pretend, and it's good to be a bit show off sometimes. I will pretend to know absolutely every single aspect of sustainability and climate transition and climate risk, especially around the financial assessment of climate risk and then policy making and so forth. So if anyone wants to spend a bit of time to get advice, it's free. It's available.
It's free. So Mateus.
Yeah, I just love because it's like, what can we do by Friday, right? So thank you, David. I think it's really amazing, and I love the titles, the chapter titles already. Really makes me want to read that book, and I think like what I can sense is that it's really aligned with my thoughts about this. But I would love to hear from you, like, since you said what can we do by Friday, like what are the biggest levers personally and collectively for climate change? I mean, you have a lot of people here that can take immediate action, right? In a way. So what are the biggest levers?
By the way, before you answer, can everybody come on video before we complete so that we can have it for the recording? So thanks. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, so there are very simple actions we can take, like buying an electric car, that's one, or changing our electricity or power plant to solar or renewable, that's two. Number three, I think whenever we express our voice as citizens through voting or community activities is three. I think anytime you have the chance to bring up the conversation and share what you believe in and what you know about the topic to others is very good because it's so complex. There's nothing easy about the climate transition, and it's full of opportunities to instill doubt or to change the motivation. So I think what you can do is both these behaviors, so purchasing an electric car, but also engaging in conversations, being patient and being willing to do it. So that's just a quick advice. And of course, what am I talking about? You can buy my book. It's fabulous. If you want to do something about the climate, buy the book.
I thought you were going to send us all a book.
Well, let me drop the book in the cover. I'm happy to send a copy to anyone who wants it, by the way, or at least a Kindle version. That's very easy. And if you want to buy it, you can also feel free to buy it.
Yeah, I would encourage people to buy it. You know, why don't you put it on the platform, our Leaders Who Care community platform, how they can get it and stuff like that, and that way they'll have access to that. Anybody else have any comments?
Can I just chime in on David? I wish I could bring you with me when I'm working with clients, because that app I mentioned at the beginning that we're building, everything you just said just now was visual, which makes it understandable, which makes it memorable, which makes it compelling. And the obverse is true. So you're the model.
That's very cool. I'm happy to give you a little paragraph to read if you like, or if it can inspire anything. Look, words matter, right? And the more you can demystify the conversation and you can make it relatable and even exciting, the better it is. So I've always said sex and sport sell much better than sustainability. So use one to sell the other. That's my
Yeah, but sex before the game isn't good because you don't play up to your potential. It takes all the energy out of you. So you want to define that. But
Nazi rule.
any other comments? Cool. Well, thanks everybody for participating, and I'll say it again. If everybody gets on the community, we're going to try to really up the engagement of everybody to help everybody in what they're doing. Coming speakers, we got the Chief Technology Officer, Corporate Excellence for Red Sea Global out of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We have this guy Sam with a funny last name that's going to be on soon on as a speaker, Kukathas. It's almost as funny as Sadovnik, actually, the last name. He's going to be on, and some other great people coming on. If you have recommendations of people that we want to highlight on our podcast, the Leaders Who Care podcast, or come on as speakers, that'd be great too. And self-serving, this is prime time for companies and family offices and entrepreneurs and founders who we work with for talent, make changes and bring on people and whatnot. There's a lot of searches going on right now, and we're handing out really good referral checks. So I wouldn't mind sending referral checks to each and every one of you for introducing us to clients. I head out actually to Bahamas next week to talk with the new client, the CEO of a company called My Ocean that's doing a lot of stuff on Bahamian art and bags and all sorts of different types of lifestyle stuff around ocean and so on and so forth. That's just one of the many. So appreciate any introductions, referrals for either of those things, and appreciate all of you for being leaders who care. Like the world needs it more than any right now, and combine that with some of Andrea's joy, and we'll be in a great place. So and and it seems like we have the heart covered because we got cardiovascular connections now too. So we're all in pretty good shape, hopefully. So thank you all. Have a great rest of the day and week and weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.